So welcome to this video. In this video, we are going to start with activity-based costing. So activity-based costing is a costing method that identifies activities in an organization and assigns the cost of each activity to all products and services according to the actual consumption by each product. So see, ABC is a kind of not a type of what to say a costing method. It's actually a cost allocation method. So normally we have seen the overhead absorption rate and the overheads chapter. So when continued with that, ABC is a cost allocation kind of a chapter here. This model assigns more indirect cost overhead into direct costs compared to conventional costing. So this is nothing but an what to say, we have allocated some cost, we have reapportioned some cost, and we have reapportioned some cost. So ABC takes the apportionment and reapportionment costs, okay, those things together, and it tries to find out in a much more detailed manner how these overheads could be allocated to the products. So SEMA defines ABC as an approach to the costing and monitoring of activities which involve tracing resource consumption and costing final outputs. Resources are assigned to activities and activities to cost objects based on consumption estimates. Okay, so what they do is they try to find out what is the cost of a product. Okay, so we'll take a cost of a product. So ABC assumes that the cost of a product, okay, is increased or decreased because of the resource consumption, how much resource this product consumes. Okay, that is what is driving the cost. Okay, so we could actually put it like this. So the cost of the product is the number one, okay, but that is being driven by the resource consumption. So the resource consumption is what actually incurs the cost. Okay, so assume that we have two products. We have a kids cycle and we have a standard cycle. So you see, if you see here, the kid cycle has to be like assuming that it's going to be like very detailed, okay, very what to say, very detailed oriented, okay, and it has to be safety has to be like much more better than a standard cycle. So the resource, the time it consumes, okay, to be produced is like much more higher. So more labor is going to be used, more quality checking is used, and more kind of supervision is used. So kid cycle consumes more resource, okay, we can put it as more time. And the standard cycle consumes less time. So if there's going to be any cost, okay, if there's going to be any cost, for example, like supervisor cost, this supervisor cost has to be allocated more towards a kid cycle and less towards a standard cycle. Okay, so that is where ABC comes into play. So like this, similar to like supervisor time, every aspect of production, whether it's going to be indirect labor, machine oil, or it's going to be like anything else like quality checking, everything depends upon any indirect cost, okay, depends upon the resource consumed by the product. So that is where the uniqueness of ABC comes into play. The latter utilize cost drivers to attach activity costs to outputs. So it is an activity that is like much more important here. The activities, okay, or the resource consumption is depending upon the more activity that is being demanded for by a particular product. With ABC, a company can soundly estimate the cost elements of entire products, activities, and services that may help inform a company's better decision. So we now know where the cost is getting involved. Okay, the supervisor cost that we are paying him the salary. more of his time is involved in kit cycle. So the kit cycle cost would actually be going up, and because of that we should charge a higher price for kit cycle and a lower price for the standard cycle. Identify, eliminate products and services that are unprofitable and lower the prices of those that are overpriced. So product and service portfolio aim. So what we do here is, after doing ABC, okay, we get a cost, and if that cost plus we add a profit, that selling price, if it is viable, we have to sell, or else we should not produce that product at all. Okay, so where and all is like uh, we can apply ABC. Identify and eliminate product, production or service processes which are ineffective, and allocate processing concepts that lead to the same product at a better yield. So if you can produce the product in a much more uh, cost effective way, you should do that. Okay, because we are not trying to reduce the cost, but we are trying to get the same kind of job done through some other activity. So ABC helps that also. So ultimately, see, we want to know whether the quality, whether the product is of good quality. That's why we have a supervisor. So instead of a supervisor, if we have some robotic camera which finds out any mistakes in a particular cycle, we can eliminate the supervisor, okay, from that, and we can just put a camera with artificial intelligence. So uses of ABC, it helps in better management, better budgeting. The costs are much more accurate, the profitability is like much more accurate. We can find out whether to invest in new technology or not. I think that's the example we told you here, whether we could use a camera with artificial intelligence to supervise the production of products. Improving quality by a product and a process redesign. Okay, we could improve the product quality by redesigning the activities itself, and increasing competitiveness or coping with more competition. So it helps the company to be more competitive. So this is about the ABC concept here. So what we'll do is we'll try to find out, we'll apply this concepts to problems here. Okay, so first three problems are about overheads, and then the last two problems are about ABC. Okay, so these are just small problems. ABC are the lengthier ones. Okay, so we'll start from overheads. So the overhead formula is this. So the overhead formula is this. OAR equals to budgeted overhead divided by budgeted total of absorption basis. And let's do this formula here. Okay, OAR. Usually it's on some basis. So let's read the question. The following data relate to 1 year in department Z. Budgeted machine hour is 20,000 and actual machine hour is 22,000. Budgeted overhead is 3,60,000. Actual overhead is 3,80,000. Based on the data above, what is the machine hour absorption rate as conventionally calculated? So it is OAR based on machine hour. Okay, so that is the OAR here. So the numerator is going to be only budgeted numbers. So it is 3,60,000 divided by budgeted machine hours, which is 20,000. So when you solve, you get the answer. Okay, so this is $18 per machine hour. So this is about a small problem. We'll move on to the next one. A company absorbs overheads based on labor hours. Data for the latest period are as follows. So let's increase the font size first. A company absorbs overheads on labor hours. Data for the latest period are as follows. Budgeted labor hours is going to be 9,000. Budgeted overheads is 1,55,750. Actual labor hours is 8,250. Actual overheads is 1,44,000. Based on the given data, what is the labor overhead absorption rate? So again, it is going to be OAR. It's going to be OAR on labor so the numerator is going to be budgeted fixed cost, okay, budgeted cost divided by budgeted labor hour. So this is going to be rupees, okay, rupees per labor. Okay, so we got the item here. So we'll go to the next sum. The next sum is also a small sum here. So we have different overheads basis. Okay, we have like different overheads basis. So we'll start from here. So if you read the question, the budgeted and actual data regarding production are as follows. So overhead cost is 40,000, direct material cost is 33,000, direct labor cost is 41,000, and machine hours is 11,000, direct labor hours is 20,000. What would be the absorption rate for department Z using the various bases of apportionment? So there are like 5 different bases. 1. Percentage of total direct material cost. 2. Percentage of percentage of direct labor cost. 3. Percentage of total direct cost. And 4. Rate per machine hour. And 5 is rate per direct labor hour. So we have so many here. Whichever method you use, the first one you have to use is the budgeted overhead. So that is going to be 40,000 divided by direct material is 33,000 into as they are asking for a percentage, it is to be 100. The next one is direct labor cost. Labor cost is 41,000. The next is percentage of total direct cost. Okay, so the direct material and the direct labor put together are total direct cost. Then we have rate per labor hour. So as it's a rate, we don't need to put into 100. It is just the hours. And finally we have the direct labor hour. Okay, so we can copy all of them and we can find the answer. Okay, so if you use percentage, you have to if you use 100, you have to express the number in percentage only. If you use rate, you have to put as dollar per machine hour. Okay, and if you are going to use again rate, here the rate is going to be dollar per labor hour. Okay, so that's about the concept here. So this is about the concept, but how is this going to be used in a company? We just see small parts of the problem, but how is it going to be used in a big lengthy numerical problem, or how is it be used in a company. So that is what we will see